Jamaican ghost stories that will keep you up at night. Even real traveler. Full story. It was about 6:30 p.m. and a young lady was in Spanish Town, heading home from work. She lived in Spain at the time and would usually take the bus home at the park in the evenings. The buses would either be too full or she'd have to wait until another one comes up for another load when she got there. She was lucky to see a bus already loading and it didn't have enough people, so she hopped on. When she entered the bus, the first thing her eyes glanced at was a man in the second or third row to the right corner of the bus, slouched or lounged in the seat as if he was in a sofa. She felt a very eerie vibe, and she knew something was wrong, but she couldn't put her fingers on it at the time. As she stood there for what felt like a lifetime, her eyes noticed how out of place he looked. His attire was an old gray button-up suit, and with him he held an old leather brown briefcase. She felt as if she was supposed to leave and board a different bus, but she was afraid she'd have to wait too long for the other one to arrive. She snapped back to reality and went to the back about 2 seats from him, to the left side of the bus. When she initially got on the bus, she texted her mother saying, "Mommy, I came on the bus, and as I entered I felt the Grim Reaper." Her mother would always get upset whenever she spoke like that, but she understood all the same because of her third sight. Her mother told her to breathe a word of prayer and cancel it in Jesus' name. As the bus drove off, she sat back and tried to relax as she had a long, hard day at work and couldn't wait to get in and shower. It was a long drive. As she sat there, she thought about the man she saw on her way inside, and no matter how she looked around, she couldn't seem to pick him out among the passengers. Finally, the bus was about to reach her stop and she heard a man say, "One stop, driver." By this time it was late and getting darker. She came off at her stop along with a lady and her son. They all crossed the street together, and the lady continued down the stretch to her destination. As she attempted to walk through the dark lane, she felt uncomfortable and she turned to her left and saw the same man standing by the side of the road with his briefcase, but he turned toward her.
Follow Jamaican True Stories.
She didn't know what to think, but she was worried because it was dark and she was alone. She started walking and she heard him following her, so her spirit got angry and she turned and looked at him telepathically, telling him to stop following her or else. He instantly swung around and left. She told herself that he probably would take the hint and leave, so she started running as fast as she could. There was a lock on her gate to get in the yard, so when she reached the gate she shuffled the keys and finally got in. She felt a relief, because her whole body was heavy and her hands were shaking. She rushed inside looking around frantically and called her mother immediately and told her. Her mother asked her if she was inside, and she told her yes. After the phone call, a bright bulb hit her that the whole time she came in contact with a demon. She don't know how she missed that fact. But she was so dumbstruck she sat there for minutes before she started to pray and cover herself. She remembered how he seemed to be overlooked by the passengers. He got lost when the bus took off and she never saw him come off with the lady. He just appeared at the roadside. She questions it every day, if he was sent or he just noticed that she could see him and decided to follow her home.
Like and follow Jamaican True Stories for more.